in the monasteries, not the monks. Once they shaved their crown, they joined the church and they became the synagogue of Satan. But before they joined the church, they had long hair and were disheveled. And he says, don't hurt those ones. Because a lot of people, you know how, like Luther, he became a monk because he wanted to serve God out of the abundance of his heart. Once he shaved his head and started doing oaths, now he's working for the church. You know, but so the Islamic orders were told, when you go into that land, do not hurt any of the people in the monasteries up in the mountains or the people that are worshiping by themselves solitarily, but destroy utterly those who have a shaven crown.
You can find that in Daniel Revelation.
What's that?
It's in Daniel Revelation. That's what Eli Smith said.
Right. So, oh, it's in there?
Yes, it's in there.
Oh, okay, that's great. So I mean, here you have, you know, if you didn't think it was Islam, and then he says, you know, don't hurt, you know, it's just so perfect, you know, and when you know who's righteous and who's unrighteous, who has a seal and who doesn't have a seal, then, yeah, but I mean, the thing is, this is in Isaiah, it's this little crazy thing is, there's one in Zephaniah, there's, you know, and all these little things that didn't make any sense at all start to make sense, but you wouldn't have much of a clue if you didn't have the rain here, didn't have the asses here. You know, I mean, you just keep seeing these repetitions. And next time you see it, it won't say ass, it'll say locust. And the next time it'll say the budding trees or the springtime. And they're all synonymous every time. And it's just a short little thing of events. Bam, 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 that's it. And then it's repeated by Isaiah, repeated by Ezekiel, repeated by Jeremiah. And they all use different words. Just like in the Revelation, and we're going to study today, the dragon, the beast, and the false prophet. Ellen White calls it Protestantism, spiritualism, and Catholicism. So it's the same exact things, worded differently. And that's the way the Bible is all the way through. And once you realize, once you get the story down, you keep seeing it again, you're going like, that's the same story. That's the same story. It's the same story. And so as your knowledge increases and your Bible gets bigger, then you realize it's only one story and it gets very small. And it's like you're going like, the whole Bible is right here. Here, you want me to repeat it? Oh, here. That's the whole Bible again. Oh, here's the whole Bible again. Here's the whole Bible again. Because it's really, everything is about the last days, and the last days is a small story. It's just repeated in different words again and again and again. And it's just like Daniel. It started with Daniel 2, repeated again, Daniel 7, repeated again, Daniel 8, repeated again, Daniel 9, repeated. It's always the same story.
Small details.
With little details, yeah. And the changing of the words. Going from a head to a lion, going from a breast to the bear.
But we have different minds working, and so maybe one mind will pick it up here, another mind won't, and vice versa. So I think it's marvelous the way God teaches.
There's so much in here that you will come up with truths that no other person in this message or any of the 144,000 will ever come up with. And you'll share it with the rest of the group. God doesn't allow one person to give all the truth. I've come up with stuff that I've never heard before. You know, and it's funny because you tell the brethren, you're asking them like, well, what about this? And they're like,
Yes.
well, if that's what you got, you work on it.
I've experienced that. I've heard nobody else, what I found, I've heard nobody else saying in Revelation 17.
Okay, good. Okay, well, you share that with me. If you can add to whatever I'm going to put, you can tell me. Yeah. I thought about Samson, and I thought that's too powerful of a story. There's so much symbolism. It's got to be huge. You've got the plowing with the heifer. You've got the foxes running through the field with their tails brands. You've got the lion with the honey in the middle. Okay, what is honey?
Honey.
Is the meat of the message.
What's the meat of the message?
A historic
Prophecy. Prophecy is honey. The honey was found where? In the belly of the lion. When did we receive the prophecy of Daniel? When we were in Babylon.
Oh, right.
Out of the strong comes the sweet.
Yes.
Out of Babylon comes the prophecies.
Right.
You know, and then we have the fact that Samson was strong because he had long hair.
Yes.
When they cut his hair off, he was weak.
Right.
What gave the strength to this message to go to the whole world?
Islam?
Islam. The prophecy of the 391 days and 391 years, 15 days, gave the power to this message to go to the whole entire world. What did we talk about the horses? The men had long hair.
Yes.
Take the long hair off the charts, and how powerful are they? You just made them weak. That was the crux that made those charts powerful. So the Adventist Church, what have we done? We have taken those off the chart. We don't teach Islam. We're teaching Daniel 2, Daniel 7, maybe Daniel 8, a little bit, maybe, and the 70-week prophecy of Daniel 9. We throw out 10, 11, 12. And that's when we start to get forward up where we're going to go into Islam and get in these places. But we remove these truths, and our prophecies become history, not present truth, not our future, not it's weakening it. So now, as Samson has been down grinding on the mill, which kind of represents the Word of God, his hair is growing back. And when he comes back, when Islam comes back, and the truth of Islam comes back to Adventism and comes to the world, he's going to bring down the towers of darkness. And the temples will fall, and then God will come.
And while his hair was
That's just my little thing. I haven't, that's just my, I'm
okay, but while,
not sure that's all correct.
while
But
his hair was growing, they forgot that his strength was in his long hair.
Right. That goes right along with the Adventist Church going like, oh, that doesn't mean anything. That's not important. That's so important.
Meanwhile, the hair is growing.
Right. In the basement, not out in the open where
No.
everyone can see.
No, well, they didn't really notice it. They took no note that his hair was growing. And they knew, in order to get him down, they had to cut his hair. They were trying to figure out a way to do it. They forgot it all.
And you know what ruined the whole thing? Well, part of it is because his wife was plowing with the heifers. Or they were plowing with his heifer. There was fornication going on
Right.
between the world
Yes.
and the purity of God's truth. And so, yeah, I know there's just got to be a ton packed into Samson, because that's just such a big story. It's not just about a strong guy who likes girls.
I'll have to go back and read it. Yeah, well, already that tells you that's trouble.
Right. Especially if those girls are churches.
Absolutely.
Yeah, clearly there was that all those buildings were demolitions, and they said that they had people coming in as supposed to be cable guys going up and down the elevators with cables and cables and cables. Well, they weren't hooking up communications.
2 weeks prior to the event, there was a lot of dust coming out. They shut the building down. They had security guys come in.
Power outages too.
Because you have to go into the concrete
People
with your
heard all
explosives.
kinds of
You don't just
hammering
put it on the
and
outside.
concrete dust was coming out of the vents for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
They knew something, there's just too many other
The crazy part about the
things.
whole thing.
But now, back to the question. In the Bible readings for the home circle, they talk about the early version. One of the first versions, I have the one that's called the 1888 version. And in there, it has the Eastern question, where they specifically talk about these events that take place and pointing it toward the Muslim community or Islam.
Mm-hmm.
And Constantinople and all in the fall,
Right.
there was going to be some issues there. Well, over time, they've taken that and said, well, no, that probably wasn't true, that didn't
Right.
apply. But it looks to be that is coming back.
Well, wouldn't that be what the Catholic Church would like to do? To remove every foundation that we... I mean, I know it's not Adventist.
I haven't
We're
studied
infiltrated.
it in a while. I did when I first
Adventists
became an
don't kill
Adventist.
themselves. They become deceived.
We studied, a friend of mine, we used to study the sanctuary and we went through that, but it's been a long time, so I probably should go through that again, look it over, look at some of these things. you're not the only one that teaches this kind of information. I see there's another guy,
It's all over the
Beyond.
world.
Beyond.
Magic Beyond.
Yeah, he has a whole
In
series
Europe,
of
yeah.
that stuff, and there's a couple of other people I've seen on YouTube that have something.
This
that
is
has
this
to
is
do
all
with
just happening in the last 3 years. The person who's at the head of this is Jeff Pivenger, and he's been teaching it for 20 years. He's kind of like how Miller studied for 10, 20 years ahead of time, and when he finally had the message, he didn't actually give it until, or wasn't received until, then the world took it by storm, and the whole world had the Advent movement. But Miller had it years before the Advent movement ever started. You know, and so this is kind of where Jeff's at, and now, and you know that Ellen White says that God's angel ministered to Miller. When she says God's angel, she's naming him. It's Gabriel. And he's the one who always helps with prophecies. He was the one who spoke to John the Revelator and to Daniel. Now, if everything's to be repeated to the very letter, there has to be a William Miller. Somebody has to be the head. Not necessarily that he's a great person or he's a prophet. It's just like John the Baptist had to decrease so that Christ could increase, but there has to be someone who announces the message, or the Elijah. John the Baptist was called Elijah because so there's got to be an Elijah that comes before the Elijah message. And then so I am completely convinced, as I'm convinced of anything in the Bible, that Jeff is this man, and but he's just a man. He's nothing special about him. He's not perfectly physically fit. He needs some temperance in eating or diet or whatever, or whatever. But the point is God's used murderers and all throughout the Bible to do His work. What He needs is somebody's willing to serve Him. And if they're willing, He'll use anyone. And I don't think Miller was really physically fit. If you look at his pictures, he looks kind of a little bit portly. Anyways, when you hear some of the great people who are taking hold of this and their minds are expanding to such an extent where they just blow you away no matter where they go in the Bible, you say, explain this to me, and I'll look at it and it'll just open up. They can just pull it, they can just look at it and it just comes out. And so when these guys are doing it, it is just, it's like just straight bread from heaven. And yet still, if you have they have these prophecy camp meetings where they have like for a whole week, and they've got speakers speaking all day on these subjects. In every camp meeting, new subjects are coming because this coming is so fast that the people who are learning it can't even keep up with it. God is just pouring messages out so fast that the knowledge is increasing so quickly. Ellen White said that we will have to learn in a few months, not years, a few months. A few means more like 3 months, 4 months. What it took scholars and people a lifetime of study to achieve. And it's not meaning that we're going to have to work that hard. It means that God's going to quicken our minds to receive it. And we'll be able to absorb it, and God will give it to us. Because we've never been studious enough. None of us could do that on our own. It's going to be supernatural. But that's what's happening now. It's increasing in speed so fast that we can't even keep up with it. And that might sound intimidating because you're going like, well, I'm behind. I haven't even started. I'm still wondering about 9/11 or something or whatever. But the thing is God knew His timing before He started anything. And if He had you come in at 8 o'clock and you only got 3 hours till midnight, it's okay because He planned it that way. And He's already got your 4 hours figured out for you. You just need to be obedient and accept His call and follow Him. And so, because I hear a lot of people panicking, and I'm going like, listen, if God needed to give you more time, He would have gotten you here sooner. He hasn't gotten 144 done yet. He's working on them right now, and if you're listening to this message now and you're accepting it, you will be a part of that. And so, it's all about just trust Him to be able to, how do we call it, making up the difference? His grace is sufficient. he's got it figured out. God's not an idiot. And he knows where he's got to get us. He knows where we're at. And we all know we're not
All right,
there.
everyone.
But he's got it figured out. Just
It's time
follow.
for us to eat. Levantese. Get up.